I was a big believer in Dr. Anthony Fauci, and now I'm beginning to wonder.
Oh my God, dude. Dude, look at this. And here, guys, speaking of transformations, in the quest for Anna and Cenk to slide to the right, to slide into that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson nonsense, these guys are trying to pull the Overton window because Cenk Uygur was a Republican. He was just mad at George Bush for going to war, okay? And specifically in the Middle East. So Cenk Uygur went into progressive left-wing politics, but he was never a left-wing progressive. He was a Republican. And now he's becoming a Republican again, but he is trying to pull the left-wing people that believed in him over back to his new republicanism, which he is calling populism. I'm going to let it play now. But it is that. I was a firm believer, but now I'm beginning to wonder. Because now I've got to move. I got to move over to Tucker and Candace, and I can't do it by supporting Fauci. So now, I've got a lot of questions about Fauci. So I'm not going to completely say the pandemic was fake, but I'm going to, I'm going to fucking dip my toe into all of the Tucker, Candace, right-wing shit, okay? I'm going to fucking stank Uygur it up. Here we go. You ready? Let's go.
I was a big believer in Dr. Anthony Fauci, and now I'm beginning to wonder. So I don't think it means that everything he said was wrong at all, but we now know that he did lie on some very important matters, and that he apparently had a giant ego and was obsessed with how he was perceived in the media. The release of his diaries have proved a little bit devastating. We've got the receipts for you now with him.
Let me just begin this by saying that-
dude, she's aggro.
The one thing that I think the
Dude, did a homeless person touch her again? Dude, look at her. Dude, she is livid, bro.
Conservative Americans were correct about, especially as it pertained to the pandemic, was questioning authority and questioning our institutions. When the pandemic began, I had too much trust in our institutions. I have now switched over to having zero trust in our institutions. And when you have zero trust in our institutions, you're more likely to land at the accurate information, okay? This information that we now have, thanks to details of Fauci's diary being released, is beyond infuriating. And in fact, I think he should be prosecuted for it.
Okay.
Oh, now they're on the prosecute Fauci. Her pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Wow, dude. Dude, what the f, bro? Now, here's the deal, guys. Fauci didn't do anything crazier than anybody else worldwide, okay? Nobody knew what the f to do, man. Nobody knew if that was going to be something that was going to ravage and kill like half the fucking population. People were scared. They overcompensated. They made decisions and right. But I mean, what the f, bro? I mean, come on, man. Nobody knew what the f they were doing. Right? They were doing it, and then he was fighting with Trump, and I don't know.
I don't know that I'd go that far, but I will tell you this. So we're going to give you the details, but as you go through this, keep in mind, and there's one important detail I really want to highlight here, the difference between scientists and the government. Fauci here was acting more in the role of the government rather than the scientists. In fact, he buried scientific findings. What it actually makes me the angriest about what Fauci did is how he accidentally, I guess, smeared scientists.
Prosecuted, Cenk, prosecuted. Let me just explain something. When we talk about gain of function research, when scientists in these biolabs that are sprinkled across the globe that we fund, what do you think we are funding that research for? Do you think we're funding gain of function research because we want to make sure we keep the global population safe from viruses?
I mean, that's part of it, but like part of it is, yes, you're funding gain of function research to try and stay ahead of nature and to see what's out there, right? And you're looking for cures. And some people are making weapons and like, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of shit, but there's certainly vaccines. I mean, there's a lot to it. But like, dude, what the fuck? Dude, she's like fully, the way she said that, she's like, no, they were unleashing it to create a singular bioweapon. But like, yo, dude, we had the Spanish flu pandemic 100 years ago. And they didn't have biolabs and they weren't doing gain of function research. So like, come on, man. You know, come on, dude. What is she doing?
No, they're developing biological weapons. That's what they're doing. That's what that is. We are funding that.
Well, and of course, every government is working on biological weapons. That is not untrue, but like, that has nothing to do with like Fauci. Like, what is she doing,
There was a lab leak that Anthony Fauci knew about and he buried it.
Yeah.
Okay, prosecuted.
Yeah. Look, I don't know that it's just for biological weapons. I think the scientists involved, I'm sure some of them earnestly believe, hey, we've got to develop some sort of defenses for these viruses when they come. But
dude, do you see what they're doing though, guys? I didn't watch old TYT, but do you see? I hope you guys see the manipulation that's happening, okay? And they've been doing this for a while, but now it's becoming really obvious. But it is like, think about their role, okay? Cenk is a Republican. Leftists have really gained power, and America is moving to leftism. They're moving to DSA, the Dem Party. They're not moving to whatever his brand of conservative populism is. Okay, misogynist conservative populism. Now, Cenk Uygur is trying to move over to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. And he's trying to gain some of their audience while pulling whatever left-wing audience he has. He's trying to move that window over to the right in order to glom on to Tucker and MTG and Candace and all them. Okay, because they're like the big, like trying to get the keys to the MAGA cult. But they're like good cop, bad copping it, okay? Where Cenk Uygur is being the skeptic. Well, it's not just biological weapons, and Anna's coming in real severe. Put him in jail, put him in jail. So Anna's appealing to the extremists, and Cenk is playing the like, oh, no. Well, it's not exactly that, but he's not questioning her. He's not really arguing with her. He's letting her advance that point, and then he's trying to walk it back in just a slightly gentle way where her point stands. But he's like, right? Dude, they're like good cop, bad copping, trying to just move. It's like right-wing cop, centrist cop, trying to pull the leftist window over to the right, dude. Dude, what fucking douchebags these guys are. Jesus.
Gain of function research is very dangerous and very questionable. So let's give you the facts on what happened, and then we'll discuss more.
So this is all due to Senator Rand Paul publishing 1,100 pages from Dr. Fauci's diary, which, let's just pause, diary. Okay, you're a grown man. Oh, you got a diary where you incriminated yourself, but fantastic. So,
no, dude, you see that? There you go. Their diary. Oh, a man having a diary, right? You see that though? A man having a diary. There you go. There's the MAGA. Oh, dude, is that 𝗙𝗙cie𝗶𝗵 or is that Dana White? Oh, men can't have a diary, dude. I've got 100 notebooks on a shelf of fucking diaries, dude. I was an artist. Artists keep diaries. Scientists keep diaries. People that like to process their shit on paper and get shit out and look at it and get some separation from their thoughts. Like, come on, man. Dude, what a fucking idiot she is, dude. And I bet she'll simultaneously would yell at people, oh, young people are on their phones too much. But if you're a man, don't keep a fucking diary. Dude, you got to write a psychotic manifesto. Dude, I really fucking think 𝗙𝗙cie𝗶𝗵 is an asshole. She is. She is just like beginning to end an asshole.
But just real quick on that, if you're wondering why do we even care about his diary? He was keeping notes so that he could publish a book and et cetera, et cetera.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
And that's more self-aggrandizement, wealth, et cetera.
Yes. So
Dude,
anyway,
self-aggrandizement. Dude, come on, man. If you're the top virologist in the Trump administration during a worldwide pandemic, of course you're going to write a book. Dude, now he's putting him down for writing a book. Like, dude, oh my God. I want to put a knee right in some nuggets.
1,100 pages of his diary were released by Senator Rand Paul. Fauci is going to testify before Congress tomorrow. And so Rand Paul puts this out ahead of that testimony. Fauci was the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and the pages basically cover his thoughts and what was happening internally from December of 2019, so at the very beginning of the virus, COVID-19 pandemic, through his retirement 3 years later in December of 2022. Now, one of the most damning revelations, if you ask me, had to do with the origins of the virus. The prevailing theory that we heard over and over again was that COVID developed naturally in animals before making the jump to humans through a Chinese wet market. We all remember that. Well, that was a lie, and Fauci knew it. So on February 1st, 2020, his diary records a meeting with a dozen prominent virologists in which only 2 were willing to credit the natural origins theory. The rest suspected the virus might have been created artificially, not least because a leading scientist in Wuhan, Shi Zhengli, was known to engage in the sort of gain-of-function research that could produce such a result. So Cenk, let's just pause for a second. If this is the type of virus that would not develop naturally, why would you want humans to artificially create it? I mean, unless you're looking to create biological weapons.
Yeah, so two things.
Or unless you're looking to fucking be able to get ahead of like viruses in the future. Like, dude, again, she's playing the whole biological weapons, but even that, like, what is that? So some scientists had a theory that this guy created it. But I mean, at the end of the day, whether the virus was created by a guy in a lab or whether it happened naturally, does any of that matter? You know what I mean? Like, sure, after the fact, you can fucking go and like modify the way you create shit and be more aware, but like, really, does it matter? No, what matters is 7 million people died, and thankfully, because of the gain of function research and the knowledge they had and all of the fucking stuff with mRNA vaccines, thankfully they were able to create a functional vaccine, which is like, imagine if they had done no gain of function research and had done no mRNA research, and then that thing happened naturally, we'd all be fucking dead. Like, you should be goddamn thankful they were creating this shit, because that's the only reason we had a workable vaccine. And the vaccine absolutely saved lives. I mean, people that died from this were way more people who were not vaccinated. They got way sicker. So, like, this whole thing is stupid. Dude, she has lost the plot. She is literally buying into this right-wing narrative. I will say this, okay? You ready? In the course of advancing technology, you create shit that's harmful sometimes. I think all you can really do is learn from your mistakes. There's always this idea of like some terrible thing happens and we look back and think that, man, all of that shit could be 100% have been prevented. But like, I just don't see it that way. I mean, I don't know what the point of this Fauci shit is, because I realize we have a whole bunch of PTSD from the pandemic, but like, the pandemic was real. And I don't really care if it came from a Wuhan lab or if it came from natural causes. I mean, I would like to learn if we know that it came from the Wuhan lab and we know that it came from gain of function research. I would like to learn from that so we try not to have that happen again, right? That would be good for sure. And then maybe we start demanding some type of international limits on this or some type of like shared moderation of each other's technology and shit. The point being is that like we're always going through this. Like, you know, there's a whole bunch of shit. Like while right now we're all being exposed to 5G internet and it's this amazing, great thing. But that's not to say that 10 years from now, we are going to discover a really negative impact from 5G internet, the same way that there was negative impact from asbestos. And like, right, we had lead pipes that were great until we discovered, oh, it's causing serial killers, right? And it's making people lead dumb, right? Then we had asbestos until like, oh, it's causing people cancer. But my point being is you want to temper technology with like, you know, like the fact that asbestos ended up being really harmful. We don't have to chase the guy who discovered asbestos or did the initial research. We don't have to go like cut his head off because asbestos turned out to be cancer causing. You know, I mean, that's my thing is like, I don't understand why like attacking Fauci isn't going to solve the virology problem that is still going on worldwide where everybody is pushing the limit. And I think what's more important to me now, guys, is data centers, okay? Because we're moving into this AI thing that AI has the potential to be like gain of function research and everybody's pushing all their money into AI, but we're not thinking about how is this really affecting us? And so that's why I think we do need more international coalitions of like sharing and monitoring what people are doing. But here's the problem. America, right now, we're fucking bombing Iran under false pretenses for Israel. And we're deciding who gets nuclear weapons. So who the fuck's going to want to work with us and believe that like we're going to monitor somebody's fucking virology work without us like just taking it and maybe using it against them because we're such fucking bastards, right? And we've demonized China and China's demonizing us. And yeah, measles are back because RFK Jr. wants to eat raw milk and shit. So I guess my point is instead of prosecuting Fauci and demonizing China and doing all this bullshit, we should be trying to forge some type of global virology network that is like a bunch of countries working together. You know what I'm saying? Doing responsible research with like a type of transparency, right? And instead, though, we're looking for somebody here to blame and to hold responsible, and then we're going to keep being distrustful of everybody. And we're going to keep like doing secret research until something leaks or something breaks, right? But like I feel like the Fauci thing is more of a way of buttressing like anti-China sentiment by being like, aha, he's the problem. China's the problem and this guy's the problem, but China's the enemy. And so we're going to punish Fauci, and now we're going to build an enemy to China because China is the enemy. Like they're trying to create this thing that allows America to be more aggressive and offensive and fucking problematic. Yo, political punk here. I know, it's killing me. Seriously, guys. If you like what we do around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn those noties on. And I wouldn't be anywhere without the members. So if you want to hit the join button, we really appreciate that too. Thank you so much, guys. It's getting crazy out there, and I'm just really glad to not be going through this alone. All right? All right, keep your chin up. Let's go, boss. All right, fuck you. Bye-bye.